Southend United Football Club have won another reprieve against a winding-up petition in the High Court over an unpaid tax bill of more than £200,000.
Today's hearing was adjourned until next month, and the club has 14 days to prepare its case to avoid being placed into administration. Jonathan Blake reports.
Paul Sturrock's hopes of taking Southend United forward with assistant Tommy Widdrington largely depends on a transfer embargo being lifted from the club. Two players have agreed pre-contract deals today to join, including former Exeter midfielder Barry Quorn, seen here scoring in the FA Cup at Milton Keynes last season. But the prospect of that happening quickly doesn't bode well after today's hearing. It's been adjourned until August the 2nd, 5 days before the start of a new Football League season. The club also has 14 days to prove that it is a financially viable business. With the club losing high-profile stars in recent weeks and placing former boss Steve Tilton on gardening leave, fans have become disgruntled. Some protested outside the home of Chairman Ron Martin at the weekend. But Martin has been trying to appease them with updates through the club's official website.
We need to protect the club from administration. Some say, well, aren't you better off with a clean slate and write off the debt? I don't think so. And I've put £3.3 million over the last 7 months into the club to keep this club afloat. It doesn't matter whether it came from, Bank of Scotland or Coutts Bank or Sainsbury Bank.
There is, however, one silver lining in a growing financial cloud at Southend, a sell-on fee of around £200,000 due to the club following former player Nicky Bailey's transfer from Charlton to Middlesbrough. Donovan Blake, Anglia News.
Dozens of war veterans turned out in Ipswich today to welcome the Royal Navy warship HMS Quorn into port.
The 750-ton Hunt-class mine hunter was formally affiliated there last year. Ex-servicemen were there to greet her, and so is our reporter Laura Burns.
Getting through the locks was a bit of a squeeze. But by 8:45, HMS Quorn was sailing into Orwell Quay. Her second visit to Ipswich, awaited eagerly by dozens of war veterans.
Standard bearers, carry, standard, right, down.
First, it was time for formalities, as the ex-serviceman welcomed the ship and her crew.
Keep the pace.
And then the commanding officer welcomed them.
Very special indeed to be able to carry the standard, to meet our adopted warship and to actually see a live warship in Ipswich. I'm proud and honoured to be down here.
It's very nice to have our own ship come back to Ipswich. And being ex-Navy, I'm very interested in all the ships that come in anyway.
I really enjoyed being here. I'm glad I came. I'm glad my members came with me.
HMS Quorn has a mine disposal system and can also function as a patrol craft. She has 45 crew members and works closely with NATO. I was let on board with my camera to get a closer look. Ipswich has had a naval tradition since 1694, and it's one which the crew here on HMS Quorn are keen to continue. They're hoping that as many visitors as possible will come to see the ship before it departs again on Monday lunchtime. It's open to the public on Friday, Saturday and Sunday afternoon.
It's very important for the ship to be affiliated with Ipswich and come in for these affiliation weekends in order to reinforce our links with the community. We build friendships, strong partnerships and of course showcase our capability alongside.
For the crew, it's a chance to see their support face to face and leave for their next deployment knowing that it's there. Laura Burns, Anglia News, Ipswich.
Now, one of our longest-serving politicians made their debut in the House of Lords today. Angela Smith was a Labour MP for Basildon for 13 years, including time spent as Gordon Brown's parliamentary aide. She'll now take the title of Baroness Smith of Basildon.
The festival organisers are hoping Cheryl Cole recovers from illness ahead of next month's event in Chelmsford. The singer was diagnosed with malaria earlier this week, but organisers say they're expecting her to appear as planned.
Now then, for more than half a century, it's been one of the great mysteries. What did happen on an isolated stretch of a Suffolk beach in the early stages of the Second World War?
It's claimed that to foil a German invasion, the sea was set alight at Shingle Street and dozens of German servicemen were burned alive.
But others say this was just propaganda and that it never happened at all. Malcolm Robertson investigates now.
It's a remote spot on the Suffolk coast, just a small collection of mainly holiday homes nestling by the sea. Those who sail past would hardly be aware of the existence of Shingle Street, let alone its dramatic past. Since 1940, this place has kept a remarkable secret. For 70 years, so many people have tried to unravel the mystery of Shingle Street. There have been so many theories. One of them is that the Germans were launching an invasion of Britain and hundreds of their servicemen were burnt alive in the sea off here. It's claimed a network of pipes in the water carrying inflammable liquid was deliberately set on fire with devastating effect. This propaganda footage, released after the war, shows flame barrages being tested and demonstrated somewhere off the British coast. Over the years, there's been a wall of silence, suggestions of a cover-up over what took place close to key defence installations. Ron Ashford spent his retirement years researching Shingle Street. He saw wartime service in Malta, but before that was a local defence volunteer in Aldeburgh. He told me how he saw the sky light up orange in September 1940.
We heard gunfire and explosions, and it went on till about 6 o'clock in the morning. And the rumours came down that the enemy had probably landed there, which they had done, because there was a firefight in the village, which destroyed the lifeboat inn and several houses in that area.
The reasons for such secrecy are perhaps understandable. Setting fire to the enemy is in breach of the Geneva Convention. Britain has always said there was no serious attempt at invasion. This despite rumours of dozens of German bodies being washed up on the beach, and Ipswich crematorium being told to find as many coffins as they could. With Shingle Street evacuated at the time, there were few people around. Those who may have seen something suspicious were told to keep quiet. Sue Brotherwood has decided to speak out. She recalls her father telling her and her mother Margaret about what his brother, Uncle Sonny, had said.
Sonny had told him that the sea they'd had to set fire to the sea, and Sonny had been there the day that it happened, and that he would never forget the sights, smells and sounds of that day to the day he died.
Other rumours suggested they were actually British casualties in the water, the result of a training exercise going wrong. Graham Newman regularly walks his dog on the beach at nearby Bordsey. For months he's been puzzled by various metallic objects he's found.
There's the myth, legend and of the burning sea here, of course, when the whole sea caught fire. You know, was it something that caught in that and exploded? Don't know.
What happened here has been protected by the Official Secrets Act. In 2021, we'll gain access to the files. Will that confirm another of the theories that in fact nothing happened here, that reports of German bodies in the sea and a failed German invasion were simply British propaganda designed to boost British morale? Mary Wayne's among those who takes the notion of cover-ups with a rather large pinch of salt. She's campaigning for a permanent exhibition of Bordsey radar, where her father Frank worked as a wartime operator. He was convinced there was no invasion and no bodies in the sea.
He talked very little about the war, but Shingle Street, from my recollection, came up quite regularly in my childhood and my adult life. And my father always said that nothing happened at Shingle Street, and he's absolutely sure that those of them at Bordsey would have known.
Since 1940, the quest to find out what happened here has intensified. But 70 years on, we're still not really any closer to discovering the secret of Shingle Street. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News, Suffolk.
It's an incredible story, whatever the reality, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Now,